Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Intuition Incubator interview. I am Carolyn Beauchamp, and I'm the author of the recently published book, Horses to Higher Consciousness, Riding the Cosmic Current. And it's an inspirational memoir about my life and how I had to learn to trust my own intuition. And through learning to trust my own intuition and working with promoting my book, the Intuition Incubator interviews were birthed. So I am very, very excited today to be joined by David Quigley and Patricia Alsup. And this is going to be an incredible conversation, I'm sure, so get ready. David Quigley is one of the pioneers in the field of transpersonal hypnosis therapy, beginning in 1980. And he's been a trainer in the field since 1983. He's taught his original system of inner guide-based therapy all over the world as instructor, trainer, and a practitioner. And over a 40-year career with the support of his inner guides, David has developed and taught many revolutionary methods of hypnosis therapy, which I have been a very, very happy participant of. So I come from experience here. So I'm very, very happy to have David and also Patricia. Patricia Alsup is a psychologist licensed in California, and she's provided psychotherapy to individuals for over 30 years. She's also a lifelong artist, and she's interested in how the creative process functions in our lives. She helps people connect with their true potential that may have been ignored or forgotten in their search for meaning and purpose in their lives. So welcome, David and Patricia. I'm so happy you're here. And before we talk about your work, I'd just like to ask you both a question. So whoever wants to go first is fine with this. What what was really happening in your life when your healing or transformational journey really began?
I guess I can start with that. I was always a very, very depressed and miserable, unhappy child, a survivor of chronic neglect and abuse as a child, but also suffered chronic hearing loss. And one of my eyes was wandering all over the place and couldn't see. And I suffered severe asthma. So I was basically a very lost child. And the only goal I had in life was suicide. My father was insistent I become a Christian minister, but I had no particular connection to spirituality at all. But then at Duke University, I had discovered psychedelics, and through those experiences, had some absolutely amazing experiences of spiritual awakening that I could not explain or understand because I was an atheist, son of a minister, of course, so therefore a total atheist, and therefore I couldn't understand it. And I'll give you an example of just how confusing it was. One of the very first times that I smoked cannabis, which is a sacrament back then, a sacrament, the first time I did it outside. It was a moonlit night. I'm sitting down thinking, okay, remember, I'm an atheist, some teenager, pot party guy, and all of a sudden, three owls descend and sit in the tree above me in a perfect triangle, and they start talking, and they're not hooting like owls. They're talking in a weird language that goes like this. And the weird thing is, I understand what they're saying, and I hear them saying, and I don't understand it, but they're saying, and they're talking not to me, but this beautiful Archangel Michaela, whom I had just met in an LSD trip a few weeks before, and they're not talking to me; they're talking to her. Figment of my imagination, talking to another figment of my imagination. And they're saying, is this the best you could do for our mission? And I got really upset. I said, first of all, what's wrong with me? I'm a college student. I was studying Jungian stuff. What are you talking about? What is the mission? And at that point, I heard my inner angel laughing at them and me and saying, see, he hears what you are saying. And they all freaked out. They didn't know that I could hear them. And I understood what they were saying. So the three owls, which are three old ladies, I've met them since then, three leaders of the alchemical movement in the spirit world, they flew off in a state of shock, I'm guessing. And of course, my inner angel just laughed and laughed. She said, "I know you're not exactly the most exciting physical specimen, but you are able to hear us, and we don't find those very often." That was the beginning, and it was shortly after that I met someone named Carl Jung. I first of all heard about him and took a class on his work, and while I was taking the class, he showed up with my archangel and said, "Look, I got a job for you. You have to bring alchemy to the world." I don't mean Jungian psychotherapy. And by the way, Patricia, I know you are a Jungian psychotherapist uh, who knows Jung rather intimately. But when Jung came to me, he says, they're not doing it. They're not doing real alchemy. They're analyzing dreams. They're doing psychoanalysis. They're not connecting to inner guides and learning to work with them. That's what you need to create. Wasn't shortly after that I saw a movie he made shortly before his death, a movie called Matter of the Heart. And in that movie, he looks directly into the camera, into my face, and says, "Alchemy is the therapy of the 21st century." That got me started. Helping people to communicate with inner guides and working with them on a daily basis to help them transform their lives. That's been my life ever since. Well, I'd like to say it was, but it wasn't. I got depressed. I got impoverished. I became ill, crippled with arthritis, in fact, because I would not stop being a house painter. And my guide said, "You must not do that anymore."
You had to go through the wounded healer journey.
Yes,
You
I
had to
did.
get really wounded first.
I had to get really wounded. And when my guides came to me when I was in my wheelchair and the worst of my situation, I had up to 7 joints affected by rheumatoid arthritis. And then they said, "We'll heal this for you. We are real. Our work is real, and we will show you that it's real. But you have to promise that you'll give this to the world." And they did. They healed me with remarkable speed. And as a matter of fact, the mountain you see behind you, which is actually my neighborhood, I climb this mountain all the time, even at 75 years old. I've been a mountaineer for most of the last 50 years. So that's how it started for me.
Wow, that is such an amazing story. I know, and I've heard this story because I've taken many of your classes, and it's actually in my book because the inspiration of this book, people, is because of this gentleman right here. I have to say, I didn't know how I was going to end the book, but in one of my classes, one of my trainings with David, the answers came through a hypnosis session. So this is gold in here, and it's how this transformational journey really empowers us and changes our lives. So it is real. And what about you?
To read it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a perfect example of it. You were crippled with rheumatoid arthritis, and look at you now. You came, I sponsored David to come to Florida years ago, and we did a training
Yeah.
on the East Coast. We did a training here in Naples for somatic healing. We did alchemical past life regression over at my colleagues from my hypnotherapy training. And so we have done much work together, and I have experienced miracles. So I know this man is speaking the truth because I've witnessed it, and we'll talk about that later. I've witnessed other amazing things. I won't spoil it, David.
Yeah,
I'll
that's part of it. They have to hear from Patricia.
yeah, well, Patricia, I want to know. I'm excited to hear how your transformational journey really began,
Oh
your
boy,
healing journey.
long time ago. Uh, I think it started, my vision started to change when I had 2 children, new mom. I was living up in Humboldt County, up on Bridey Ridge, up 2,000 feet up a mountain. And I started going to this gathering of women down in Willow Creek. And this woman was talking about potential and who am I as a woman, and I had uh, earned a master's in fine arts after high school, and then got married, moved to Humboldt, all this stuff, but I never called myself an artist because I wasn't doing real professional artwork. But at that moment with that woman, I realized that I could claim I'm an artist. And it felt so weird at first to say I'm an artist because I wasn't doing it like I thought I should. So I, let's see, many years later, my first husband and I had built a house up on the mountain, and I started, had a chance to work with a group of Indian people who were working with in an external degree program with Dr. Royal Alsup, who was the teacher. And there were 13 of us, me and another non-Indian woman. The rest were Indian people working to get their degrees, their masters and their PhDs, so that they could work to protect Indian children. And so there was, with this group, there was always this really heavy motive that what I was doing was going to benefit children. And I learned so much about Native American thought and Jungian thought and how those two things melded together. And so let's see so I did this, the PhD, I got the PhD, did the internship and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually Royal became my husband, and we worked out of our home in Arcata doing psychotherapy. And it was so wonderful to have my husband be in the same line of work. We had to go down to the city to get continuing education. Always did those together. And so I asked a lot of questions, and I didn't have to say, hey, what did you do when you went down to the city for that? And I would never get all the information I wanted, but we went together. So it was we both knew what we were experiencing. And over the years, we worked for 30 years out of our home. And I didn't realize that I had an alchemical approach until I met David. And what the indicators that I would get was Royal and I both, people would come into our house and do their psychotherapy. They'd say, I don't know what you guys do, but you're different. I've been in therapy all my life, and I've never met anybody like you guys. And I didn't know how we were different. We were just doing what we do. In my case, I make a relationship with my clients, and that's where the healing comes in between us. And so then my dearly beloved passed away in 2018. And when you work all the time as a therapist, you have a lot of clients, not friends.
Yeah.
So I felt very alone up there because I had no family. So I moved down to the Bay Area, actually 30 minutes south of where David lives. And I began doing psychotherapy there, bringing clients with me. And then my daughter actually pointed David's office sign out to me. There's a park across the street from where his office was. And he said, and Jessica knew I was interested in hypnotherapy. My daughter
set her up for this.
Yeah. She said, call that guy. Maybe he'd be interesting. I called him up and said, I wanted to come to your center and see what you're about. And he said, well, the center's closed, but I have an office in my home, and gave me an appointment. And I went to see him, and oh my God, from the moment we met, we've been talking. All of these, we found out we knew similar writers, new people, all these connections to both of our past that were just uncanny and so stimulating intellectually. And
well, one day, but you got to meet Royal again and get reconnected with him, because the alchemical training turns everyone into a medium. So next you and Laura are still back to working. This time you're working Alchemy together, and he is a part of many of our conversations. And well, Laura is telling me over there, blah 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 blah, when we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you're and even prior to that, I want to go back a little bit, Patricia, because you were saying that, your study with your beloved was more of you. We had studied a lot of the, Native American culture and process. So was it kind of a shamanic type of approach?
No, no, it was Jungian. Royal's teaching was based in Jungian, but the group taught. It wasn't like up on a pedestal, the teacher. He was part of this circle. In fact, we called ourselves Native American Transformations because we did things in the community, in the legal system, to create an alternative evaluation system for Indian people, Indian children.
Mental health.
Yeah. And it was because if kids were in trouble, they would be given MMPI tests and just, if you finish this test, you can go get an ice cream cone. And then if they scored poorly, they were sent to California Youth Authority. So we created an alternative committee that the county had an agreement with us that if Indian children were in trouble, we would do the evaluations. And they were culturally, sensitive. And so the Indian Child Welfare Act was being enacted then. And that says that if a child is taken out of the home because for some reason the home is deemed an unsafe place for the child, it can't be taken out of the tribal area. First, you need to find a family member.
Yes.
And if that's not available for a healthy place for the child, you find someone in the tribe who will take the child in. And so one time Royal added up that he had helped keep 300 children from going to the California Youth Authority.
Oh my God, that's
my God.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'd love to say that a lot of the work that he did was with his previous wife, Rita, and she helped him do a lot of this work with the Indian families and their children. And as I learned from them, I used to be able to accompany Royal into the courts when he would do work. And one of the greatest things was we were sitting in the back because it was family court. And the judge said, we're having trouble here with this, what we're going to do. I see Royal's in the back. Royal, do you have anything to say here? Like he wasn't even, on the docket to speak. And that's really unusual. You don't speak unless you're expected to speak. So he was so highly respected. And eventually he and I left I went to work for the United Indian Health Center eventually. And we got married and left that place, and we're doing private practice. And he had always thought that the lawyers, the legal community in Humboldt County would be really against him, and it would be hard for us. But he found out that every time he talked to one of those lawyers, how much they respected him for the work that he did, which was really wonderful, because when you're working against a powerful thing like a county legal system, you don't feel like you feel like you're kind of in danger.
Well, that's
absolutely
an amazing story, Patricia. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, that is an amazing story. And now I want to know, how did you segue then once you met David and you started the alchemical journey? What happened there? Because I love the way this weaves with the intuition following, and you listen to your daughter and you let the synchronicities come into play. So tell us more about that.
During COVID, I had a private personal coach, and he would come to my house every 2 weeks and do hypnotherapy with me. And so I had about 25 sessions with him and learned all about my inner world. He was not an alchemical hypnotherapist, but I learned about I met my higher self. I learned about the different parts of myself that were problems, that they became helpers, but there was never bringing anything up into my everyday life like David teaches. And when did I? And so yeah, I think when I met David and came to his house, couldn't afford a session, so we just kind of visited for a long time, and finally I could afford a session, and uh, they invited me, Pat and David, to join the course, and so the universe has helped me.
She rode that horse to higher consciousness, Carolyn.
And so I did the course. I did both courses and uh, learned that the I told a group of students that the hypnotherapy teaching that I had had for about 3 years with a man named Ali Campbell. He's a Scotsman, and he does a good job of teaching, but his kind of hypnotherapy was like dream whip. And David's alchemical hypnotherapy is a real whipped cream.
I love it.
She was just full practice.
And so, yeah, so tell me then how it segued because David shared with me about your horse, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
I really wanted because that's my story too. So we
Yeah,
have
let's hear that horse story.
Yes.
so
Well,
how did that segue?
yes, I had a knee operation and about 2 years ago, maybe now, and it was fine for 6 months, and I started to develop sciatica, and that was about when I met David. I think it was very
Yes.
disabling. I mean, I went to doctors and pain management. Nobody knew what to do. I had to
And I kept saying, I hope you can afford sessions because I do this. I fix people's bodies.
my head. So I said, I'm going to try that. So I actually had several sessions with David.
Yeah.
And for a little bit background on
As her practice begins to build using the alchemical tools, you see, it means suddenly she got the money.
yeah, right. And I had to back a little bit of background on my horse, whose name is Obsidian. I always loved black stallions. They would just send me in a tizzy. And I was driving with a friend. Oh, beautiful. Yes, yes. I was driving up in the hills in West Haven, up north of Eureka. And I saw up on the hill a black horse. So we drove up this little drive, and it was a small corral, and it was a black Frisian stallion. He was so beautiful. Oh my God, he was so beautiful. And so I stayed as long as I could. Well,
Do people know what a Frisian stallion is? Maybe
Mhm.
explain that to them. It's an incredible horse.
yeah,
Beautiful horse, I know.
they're
Very regal and majestic.
yes, yes.
They're the kind you put on coaches to go haul the king somewhere, or the queen
Yes,
somewhere.
yes. Very,
Yes.
very, very awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Long manes, right?
Yeah.
Long mange. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Really long manes and beautiful. Their legs and their feet.
and they sometimes have fur feathering on their
On their
feet.
feet, yes.
So I was having my third or fourth session with David. I can't remember. Over time, I was able to get them. And I knew the night before the session that I wanted to see if I could use this black horse as a guide somehow. So we went in, and Obsidian came. He told me his name was Obsidian. The horse did, and he began nuzzling my knee, laying his muzzle on my knee,
Right.
and that's how he healed. That's the healing of my leg began. And I asked him if he would want to come into my life and be a guide for me. And he said, yes, he would really like that. So now that I do work with clients or continue to get sessions with David on my pain leg because it's not quite healed yet, Obsidian is part of it. I go down the steps with my other guide, which was a gigantic elk, a boy elk with a great big, that's who always accompanied me. Now I had my black stallion Obsidian on my right side as we go down into the world of hypnosis.
Oh, but you have to tell my favorite part of the story.
What?
Or shall I? Galloping.
Oh,
Galloping.
yes. Go ahead and tell it.
Okay. At one point, we were working on her sciatica, and she has had a lot of serious back problems, along with the knee. And I'm trying to think, well, how do we work on this back and the knee at the same time? And he nuzzled her and said, I want you to get on top of me. I want you to ride on me. And so I said, and she didn't know. Well, Patricia had no idea what that meant or how she did that, but I'm familiar with hypnotic movement, of course. And hypnotic movement is an extremely important part of healing the physical body. So I told her to put a pillow between her two legs, so she literally was on top of something. We had a nice big upholstery pillow to be on top of. And I says, okay, now let's get started. Let's start walking in that horse. Walking, unfortunately, was not exactly what we did. Fortunately, all of a sudden, her body starts making these extremely difficult and massive movements, somewhat slow motion, but still. And her knees are compressing like this and holding her onto the pillow, onto the horse. And I recognized, she didn't say a word, I recognized she is galloping.
Oh my God.
And I've never galloped.
She has never, I don't know if she's ever even ridden a horse. She's never galloped, but I have galloped a horse in this lifetime. And I know exactly what it means. I know what you have to do to keep from getting killed. You have to hang with your knees.
It was hard.
And your whole spine has to go back. You're basically, you are being tossed by that horse when you are on a gallop. And I saw her galloping physically, her body moving, the movements of galloping. And the healing that she got from that was phenomenal. Be able to go out and do all kinds of walking and all sorts of things after. Did some hikes. I won't say hikes, but walking a couple of miles afterwards because all of a sudden she got it. And so every day I have to say, every time we speak, I say, are you riding on your horse?
Yeah.
That is my favorite part of the story.
That is so amazing. And I'm going to interject here that I too, and it's in my book, I too had in one of David's in the last training I did with you, David, my horse appeared to be, and my horse gave me his name too. And so it's very interesting how when he told me about you, Patricia, I said, oh boy, this is going to be fun because this really, for our audience, people, this is real. This is a very, very real, beautiful connection with your inner guides. And
she was moving like a galloper, and it was healing her.
Yes.
Had she attempted to do these on her own, she probably just would have hurt herself further. You know what I mean? Had she said, well, I think I'll try to gallop now. Yeah, no, you need my pain pills for that. But when she was riding with the power of the horse and with Obsidian, every movement was healing her body.
Yeah.
That was the amazing thing.
Yeah.
That was the amazing thing.
Yeah. Wow. And my body remembers that day that I rode him.
Yeah.
And when I use the exercise bike now, I try to remember, I try to get back there. It's hard to get back there to where I was actually galloping. It's very difficult, especially if I want to hold the reins and move. My arms are very tired. But the reason I knew that Obsidian, this horse would be important is I have seen online, and maybe other people have seen this woman who has a herd of healing horses. And you can go to her. She has a table that she sets up under the trees, and her beautiful herd of horses, several, like maybe 6 or more, they will come and gather around the person on the table and nuzzle where the cancer is, or where. And
Patricia, I had that happen. I went, yes, as I was promoting my book, I went up to Central Florida to do a book signing. And the day after the book signing, and this is around the Ocala area, this is horse country in Florida. This is where all the people up north come in the summer to bring their horses, and there's horse shows, and there's.
I had no idea there was that in Florida.
Oh no, it's Ocala. It's absolutely stunning, and there's horse farms everywhere. So after my book signing, and actually the lady who I did my book signing at her store, she has a horse named Leroy, and she was scheduled the same day to come to the Reiki horse healing. We went to a beautiful state, to a farm, and we sat around in Adirondack chairs, and they had crystal bowls, and they went around and asked each of us, why we were there, what we wanted to accomplish. And then they would take us all into the corral, and they would let us gravitate to, there were about six horses, I think, too. They would let us gravitate to whichever horse felt, we felt a connection with. And the horse that I felt a connection with also was a big black. It was a mare, named Mama. And Mama was a beautiful big black mare. And she said to us, well, I'm not going to tell you the story because this was a horse rescue. She said, I'm not going to tell you the story about the horses, but I want you just to connect with the horse you want to connect with. So after we all connected, and they gave us brushes, and I was able to brush Mama and connect with her, then they took us all back out to the Adirondack chairs, and one by one, they took us into the pen where they had the Reiki table, and they had a woman that was the shamanic. She could interpret, she knew, she was a medium, she could tell what the horses were saying. And then the other lady who I had met a couple years before, who was a Reiki practitioner. So as I lay on the table, and even before that, then she told us when we went back what the story was with the horse. My horse, her foals had been taken from her constantly, until all her fur fell out. All her hair fell out. She was bald. And when they took her last foal, and when they brought her back to this rescue, all her hair grew back. She was a gorgeous black, like obsidian. And so then when she had me on the table, just before I had come up, on the way up for the book signing, I had to stop at my orthopedic surgeon and finally get a injection in my left hip because I couldn't even walk. The pain, physical therapy didn't work. Finally, the doctor said, I have to get you out of pain. And I said, I know I have to go to this book signing. So as I'm laying on the table, I felt a horse pushing on my left hip. And the shamanic woman said to me, Carolyn, there are horses all around you. There's a horse to the left, a horse to the right. Mama was standing guard at the right. There was a horse at the bottom and a horse at my head. And as the one horse pushed on my leg, the shamanic woman said to me, what's wrong with your left leg? The horse is telling me there's something wrong with your leg. And I burst into tears because that was the painful leg. And then she went on to say some other things, which were true. Huh?
I can't hear a word.
What happened? Oh, you can't
I
hear?
can't, not a word, not a word.
Uh-oh, something happened to your volume?
Here we go.
Now you're back. Now you're back.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Now you can hear?
I can hear you now. Yeah, hear you now.
Okay, good. We just
Okay,
have a
there's a
little.
glitch here. Maybe you want to stop and restart the recording because this is a place you're going to need to edit.
Yeah, okay, well,
Good
no
chance.
worries. Yeah, I'm gonna not stop it. We'll just let it go.
Okay, good.
But
Continue.
but so anyway, I had that experience and that was amazing. So what you're saying, there's another connection. You and I both had this experience.
That is amazing.
Did it heal your leg?
Did it heal your leg when they were rubbing the horses were there? Did it give you a healing?
Yes. I mean, it came and went. Yes, it improved. It got bad again. I had to do subsequent things. So not completely. Now it's much better. But at the time, the point was the horse was connecting with me saying, we're aware of this, what's happening here. And the horse was nuzzling. And
I love that.
yeah, I didn't have a miraculous healing right away. Now it's much better.
Maybe next time we'll put you on his back and see what happens then. You see what I mean? That was what made the biggest difference for her. Besides the nuzzling, which was very important, when she got on the horse's body, he could rebuild her entire skeleton by doing this, including the hips, by the way, which are also, by the way, I wouldn't go galloping on a real giant stallion if you've got a crippled back.
No.
I think that's something you could experiment with, Carolyn, yourself next time you get a back condition or hip situation, because I found this one of the most effective things I've ever seen in terms of just by the minute healing being felt. But your point is a good one. It's an ongoing process always. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can use my inner guide. My horse is Adonis. My horse also can both of us, we can, what you just said, David, spurred it in my mind. I can call on Adonis too for the horse healing because he's my guide and he's always there, just like and you know, maybe Adonis and Obsidian are friends in the spirit world.
Friends, everything is friends. We can tell each other right now.
They say, "Oh, you like those blonde ladies, huh?"
Those are blonde ladies. Well, speaking of blonde ladies, that was I loved your story also. If you don't mind my changing the subject,
Oh no.
Oh no.
describe, Patricia, the work that you and Royal were doing with the native populations and helping to save them from federal or state level interventions and putting together political action. I think that's very, very important. And I think for all of us who are involved in riding our horses to higher consciousness, we must never let go of the fact that we are our brother's keeper. We are responsible, especially when persecution is happening. And when you describe that scene of working with Native Americans, had really touched my heart. And it brings up another relation to that, which is it explains something to me that I've never entirely understood until now about you, Patricia.
What was that?
I'm learning something about you in this interview.
Oh.
The curtain was pulled aside for you, Patricia, like it has been for no one else. No one else has had the curtain pulled. I work at my night job when I'm not working my day job as an alchemist. My night job is I work in a rescue mission in the Middle East. We work with Palestinians, Israelites now. We work with all kinds of people. Some of it's the hell realm, some of it's heavenly. It's all of the above. Iran, especially now. And no one gets to see what goes on inside that rescue mission that I'm in. It's the spirit world. It's an alchemical heaven where we use the alchemical process to transform entire civilizations. And right now we're working on Iran, of course. It's about liberating women, essentially, liberating women and liberating them, the freedom for all of us to live in a matriarchy, in a land where all is equal, all is love. So why would Patricia be invited?
Yeah.
Now I understand. You and Royal's work with the native communities, your reputation, and obviously Royal's because he's known Carl Jung and been up there for many years in my land, in our land of Zion. I've actually met Royal when I first met you because he was a friend of Carl Jung, and Carl Jung is the sort of you might say this inspiration and head of our operation, of course. And although they call me the king, but he's the guy, and I just couldn't believe. I said, why would they open the portals and show Patricia this incredible world? She was literally shown the arena in which I do my work, and I mean large work for large scale audiences. And I was really impressed, Patricia, but I didn't know why. And now, thank you.
Good.
You have proven to the Fedayeen of Zion that you are a servant of humanity, as am I, and as are you, Carolyn. And obviously they pulled the curtain for you, Carolyn, when you've seen the black horses. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
bringing that insight to me that I finally can see. We just were sitting around talking. I think I was dancing with some of the dances of Zion to show her some of them, and all of a sudden she says, "I'm in a room full of people. Who are all these people?" And when I started describing it, she said, "Yeah, I see that one, and I see that one," and it was just really exciting.
And I've seen them since. One of the most endearing things I saw about David, because he's always talking about these millions of people he plays for, and I have a really hard time seeing that in my strongly visual imagination. But I saw him in a field, rolling mountains, and he was very, very far away from me, but the mountains were covered with people sitting to hear him play and sing. And I listened to him here on this plane, and he seems very loud, and he reassures me he's practicing for his work with all the millions. And I understand it now why he sings loudly, and so far away I could hear him sing so sweetly, and the people were just so enamored with him, and he gave them such peace and such love and such beauty through his music. So, and one thing I wanted to say, and that kind of is true, that in that work of playing a simple song to a simple audience, to a simple one person or whatever, is like me doing psychotherapy. I suddenly had my practice with Grow Therapy, an online platform. I had 6 trans people, and I was doing psychotherapy with them.
So that's another element of what we have to heal, what we have to rescue in our world today.
Yes. And they heard me as someone in the establishment that let them speak and shared their experience with me. I learned so much from what they go through, the paradigm shift, the incredible shift of identity from a body, a molecular level to a social level. And I do my work in gratitude to my clients, but I think it's because of the alchemical approach that Royal taught me years and years ago, and that David teaches me now, is there's magic. There's magic in connection with people. And if we can open up our minds and let that magic in, which a lot of people have a hard time doing, but you can let it in, and it can create a massive change and massive healing. And of course, as both of us, all three of us know, with alchemical hypnosis, that change can be permanent. And so I'm kind of caught between psychotherapy long term, doing it for years with people, and this new thing that I have that can make real quick permanent change.
You can combine. I mean, you can create your own thing. You use the best of Carl Jung. You use the best of. He was very alchemical, I believe. I love Jung. I've read his work.
He's running this rescue mission in the Middle East right now. And it's not traditional Jungian psychology. He is an alchemist. He is doing the actual protocols, Carolyn, that you learned in my training.
Well, absolutely. And don't you think he was even in his way doing it back in the 30s and 40s when he was practicing, or even earlier? Don't you think that was their version of alchemical?
Here's the problem. You see, when the Jungian Institute started in Zurich, they invited him, of course, to be the president of it. And they were going to do this thing that he had been doing for a long time as a post-Freudian therapist. He was basically analyzing dreams, but he would analyze them from the point of view of the anima, the shadow, the higher self. But he was still analyzing dreams. He got tired of that. He said, I want to do this thing called active imagination. That's the English words for it in German. I want to take you into the world to meet these beings. No, we're not doing that. So he said, you guys at the Jungian Institute, go do whatever you want.
Right.
I will not be a part of it. He was convinced that he was going to be the one using active imagination. But the Jungian Institute and Jungian therapy in general denounced it. They said, this is not what we're supposed to do. You're not supposed to actually take people into trance to meet these beings because that is too dangerous. But I'll tell you,
it can take you over, they would say.
It can take you over. Yeah, that's what they said in her training. And the real answer I want to say is the reason it's dangerous is because they need the money of weekly appointments. It's dangerous to their income. When a client calls you and says, well, you know, David, I really love working with you, but right now I had a big question I wanted to address, and my inner mate handled it just fine. So I don't really feel like I needed to work with you. Is that bad? Is that bad? And I said, congratulations. You've achieved exactly what I wanted you to achieve.
Self-empowerment.
Self-empowerment.
Yes.
And that is what, Carol?
I know. Well, that's exactly the truth. So thank you for bringing that up. I say the same thing to my clients when they come. How long are we going to spend? I go, hopefully as little as possible, because my job is to empower you so that you meet your own inner resources and you're able. I'm just the bridge. That's all I am. I'm in between. I'm just facilitating your empowerment.
Facilitating your empowerment. Exactly. That's what a good alchemist does, but Jungian psychotherapists don't want to do that.
No.
They need Jung's perception, similar to that, I'm not Jung, but the Jungian Institute's perspective, similar to Sigmund Freud, was we need them coming back every week for about 5 years.
Yes.
We need to put it in that particular format. Twice a week for 5 years. That was Sigmund Freud's format, and that's the one they were going to use with the Jungians. My format, as you know, our format as alchemists is entirely different. Our format is that we want to do, first of all, I do 1 hour and 50-minute or 2-hour sessions. And I know that's difficult for psychotherapists, so Patricia has to work around that in other ways. But in that session, we go from the interview to, all right, you're going to meet a guide if I've got anything to do with it in the first session. By the first 4 sessions, you are got regularly communicating with your guide and getting the answers that you need, regularly riding on that horse.
That's right. Well, and you know, David, and this is a story I would really love to share, is when I met you at the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association conference. And I believe it was my first conference. It was my first or second conference. I was a new hypnotherapist and I met you, and I had just had Mohs surgery right here on my forehead. And you were going to be teaching your cancer protocol, somatic healing. And so you needed a demo. And so I was the demo. So I was the demo for David's class in front of a whole room of hypnotherapists. And David took me through this session that was so transformative. And it's in this book. It's all described in this book. And it was so transformative. And I went back to my grandmother's garden, and it was
in the session, you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, in the session with you sitting right there in that chair in front of a room full of hypnotherapists. And you took me through that, and I'm not gonna share the whole thing because I want people to read it. You'll read all about it here. But that was the most transformative experience for me. It radically changed my life, my approach, my thinking with hypnosis. And then so that's when I brought you then, and we did more training here when I sponsored you, because I couldn't go to California at that time, it was a month. I would have had to go to California.
It was a month-long training back then. Yep.
And
We now do it online over the course of about a 3 or 4 month period. So it's so much easier, and so much less expensive.
Yeah, and we didn't have online then, and I had a new practice, and I couldn't just close and leave for a month and get a hotel and the whole thing. But that experience was transformative. And then I subsequently, then when David came online, I did a lot of different Monday night clinics.
That's all I do. One of the first people I call.
Yeah, and I did other sessions with you, but then I eventually was able to take the training online, and that gave me the ending to the book.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and it gave me part of the middle too, because 2 experiences with the horse in that session were transformative. So this is so beautiful that we're sharing all this, and we all kind of have this connection through it. It's amazing. So did you say, David, you had something that you wanted to do with everybody today? Did you want to do some kind of a little?
No, I was perfectly content with the format you have described, and I'm very, very happy with everything we're discussing and the way we're doing it. The way we're doing it is perfect. I'm loving it.
Okay, perfect.
I'm covering Patricia that I never even understood before this interview. Why was she the one person that the God said, you are to see our world? You are to see the beautiful arena in Sana'a in Yemen, which is where I do my performances. I mean, it's amazing to me.
It's so beautiful. And so I'd like you to both riff a little bit on this, then that, to have our audience, who really about trusting these inner guides, trusting your intuition. So we can talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think that I really want to talk about that because I wanted to make the contrast between trusting your inner guides and faith, a distinction I very often have to make in the world of Zion, where I work with very religious people. And so I have to make the distinction. Religious faith is one thing, but trust in experience and testing guides is science. And alchemy is the Arabic word for science. Science.
Oh, wow.
And it was first developed in the what was that? I don't remember the name of the caliphate in Babylon around the 10th century AD. That's where it began. That's where it came from. And it itself had been borrowed from tantric spirituality in India. But all of these systems, including tantra, are based on a simple principle. You don't have to believe. Try the technology. That's the meaning of alchemy. That's the meaning of science. Remember the Arabic word.
Yes.
If I was going to sell you a car, I wouldn't have to say, now, Carol, I want you to close your eyes and strengthen your belief that you can actually start this car and drive it. Okay, here's the key, but I want you to have strong belief, because if you don't, it won't start.
I love that analogy.
Believe in the automobile. I don't have to swear to the integrity of my Savior, Henry Ford, in order to run an automobile. No, thank God. It's always nice to know about Henry Ford, but frankly, I don't need any of that.
Right.
I don't believe in it. I just turn it on and say, "Well, this is interesting. In terms of combustion engine, who'd have thought?" That's the way alchemy works. You don't have to believe any of it. When she was up there, I didn't have to say, "Well, excuse me, but you need to ride in such a way that resembles the of a person, of a cowboy on a horse." She just experienced, what the hell is going on? She's experienced something totally beyond her normal self.
Yeah.
And so I don't ask anybody to have any faith in me or anybody else. And if you want to regard David Quigley as your personal savior, I think you need your medication adjusted. Because that's what I do. I'm interested in helping people to discover the power that's already in them. That has nothing to do with faith. Nothing to do with that. Only my faith was stronger. You see, whereas here in America, we have this attitude that your faith is what does it. It was so ironic. And I remember somebody said, "Well, you went out." You may remember the story I tell about running out into that tornado, the one you witnessed, Carolyn. And you say, "Well, faith must have been very strong." Hell no. The only reason because I'd done a tornado before. It was not my first tornado.
That's right.
And when I had to run out into that thunderstorm and stop it back in the October 2nd of 2020, I had to run out and stop a firestorm and save our city, not because I had faith.
Right.
I didn't even know how this was going to get done. I was just following instructions. You don't run away from this fire, David. You run into it. And I just followed the instructions of my guides because I could trust them. I knew, well, if I was going to die, they would take me up to heaven. That was nothing. That was going to be nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And who knows? I had no idea if it would work. I had no idea how to control a firestorm. I'd never done anything quite that big before, although you've seen me do tornadoes. And those
I did, which is why I put it in the little promo I did for you. I put the tornado with a little magic wand, and I called David the wizard because I experienced it at one of our trainings. It was for alchemical past life regression.
They call me the prophet, because the prophet does miracles. But I kind of like wizard better. It's not too much of faith in religion. But you see, it is not about faith. It is not about what you. Some people say, "Well, David, do you think I've got enough belief, enough faith?" You don't need any. I was an atheist when the owls descended to that tree and started talking to me. I didn't believe in anything.
Right.
I didn't understand what's going on. To this day, I don't consider myself to be an enlightened master. I don't know all this stuff, but I do trust because of my experiences. And for us as alchemists, when we work with clients, and you know this, Carol, we help clients build a trust in what is possible and what could happen for them. We're not here to say, there's a little weakness in your faith. Just do some chanting, get rid of that weakness, get rid of that doubt, eliminate all that self-doubt. You got to follow the Carolyn Bosham and David Quigley Susanity into the highest realms of heaven. And if you even have one doubt, you're going to miss it all. I'm sorry, your strength, your faith was not strong enough, you see. And yet, I don't have any faith. And I perform miracles, as you've seen, with my friends and my angels, far more powerful than faith healing does.
Exactly. It's experience. You experience it, and that's what we do. We help people go within, experience it within. It's like I had a woman who came in, and I did an age regression with her, and of course she had to go and do some deep work, and she didn't like that. We had to go to the root cause. We had to go find the root cause, and she had intense emotional release. The next time she came in, she said, "Oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I just want you to fix it." And I said, "Well, you have the wrong girl." I said, "I don't fix anything. I'm here to empower you, for you to find your own inner strength, your own wisdom, to heal this within you. And that if that doesn't work for you, then you go, I'll wait here. And when you're ready to do that, then I'll be happy to help you."
Now you can refer to a good psychotherapist who can help sort out her situation. Indeed, that's exactly what psychotherapists alchemists should be doing. Is, yes, you don't want to do the work. You want me to fix you. So I'm going to talk to you for a while and we'll sort all this out. And Carolyn, Patricia is so good at this that she has a 0% recidivism rate.
100%.
Well, 100% return, 100% return of clients. Yeah, nobody drops out. So apparently she has a secret that we don't have. She can talk to me for a while. I just want to do some kind of regular therapy. And like you, I refer them out. but now I know where to refer them to.
Yes, but speaking of that, Patricia, I'd like to know a little more about that then. How do you bridge that? And how do you help your people through the Jungian analysis as opposed to the alchemical with the hypnosis? I think it's very interesting for our audience to know what the difference is. How does this really work?
Well, it's an individual thing for sure. And basically a humanistic psychologist, which means I believe in the personality in a positive manner, not in terms of a diagnosis, and in terms of uh, how a person is being all that they can be. And I help them wipe the fog off of the bathroom mirror so they can see themselves better and create a container of safety for them to open up to themselves and open up to me. So that's understandable from a psychotherapy viewpoint. And since I have been uh, becoming more of an alchemist, doing more toward becoming an alchemical hypnotherapist, I'm constantly saying like, oh, we could do therapy on that, we could do hypnotherapy there, or there. And eventually I have to wait till a person kind of shows themselves to me for
Yes, trust, and they really trust you.
trust. Yeah. And so I'll just mention as the possibility that we could do it within the session, or we could have a time where we could do the full 2 hours if we needed it. I have found that I can actually do abbreviated sessions within the hour, especially if I do the interview 1 week and then we just launch into the hypnotherapy the next week.
That's, by the way, how she gets around the 2 hour session limit, because she can do 1 hour of interview and then keep that right in front of her and remind the client, we're going to stay tuned next week.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this is really, really wonderful. I'm glad that we're clarifying this because, I want to support and I want all our audience to know too, there's great service and great benefit in psychoanalysis, with the right person, because not everybody, and we all three know this, not everybody's going to just be open right out the gate to alchemical hypnotherapy, because you're opening up immediately, and it's frightening to people because everything's been bottled up for so long that it has to be a process. So I love your service. I love that you're there to do that, and you have such a beautiful way. I can tell just from
Oh,
speaking
she
to
does.
you.
Everyone keeps coming back. Now,
Yes, of trusting you and opening up to you, and so that then if and when, just like I say to my clients, I don't judge them for it, because sometimes I'm also an advanced psyche facilitator, so sometimes I'll do a brain balancing first, which it's still hypnosis, even though a lot of people don't realize it. It's just a relaxed, focused state of attention, right? Um,
You do?
brain balancing.
yeah, it's called Psyche, and it's brain balancing, left and right hemisphere by changing false beliefs in the quantum field very rapidly. And we do it. It involves kinesiology. I'm an advanced Psyche facilitator as well.
Kinesiology. Stop. Patricia, I was just showing you how to do muscle testing.
Yeah.
That's kinesiology.
Yeah.
I didn't use that name, and I want you to know that's super advanced technology. Keep going, Carol.
Okay, well, basically that's it. It's muscle testing. So we have a false belief, whatever their false belief is, and I can take them through. And as an advanced Psyche facilitator, I can surrogates. I can take on their energy. If I'm not with them physically, I can do it on Zoom, and I can take on their energy, and we can balance it, because I'm advanced. But I prefer to be in person with people, and I prefer to do it with them in person so they actually feel it. And then whatever their brain, their subconscious mind, it really is, but it's the two hemispheres, right? They get trapped in what I call the left brain loop. So they're over here going, well, what about this and what about that? And they're not connected to the right brain. So what we do with brain balancing is we go into whole brain state, and then it allows them to change a false belief in whole brain state. But their body, through the kinesiology and muscle testing, will tell me which balance is best for them, because I will ask, this one, no, this one, yes. And then I take them through that. So I understand.
There's a alchemical correspondence in the work with the inner mate. When you get connected to the inner mate and experience, especially making love to the inner mate, there is a balancing that occurs between left and right hemispheres of the brain.
Correct.
It's described, but I love the idea you can do a quick version of it through the muscle testing protocols, which I just taught to Patricia in our classes, and she's very impressed with how well those work. Exactly. Continue.
Yes, and I love you just said that, David, because it's kind of an introduction, and then people see really great rapid change because it's happening in the quantum field. If you look at an electroencephalograph before a brain balance and after, you'll see the brain colors change. You will actually see them. I've seen it. So it's science, David. You actually see it.
You don't have to believe this stuff. Please do not think that you have to have some kind of faith in Carolyn. I'm sorry, Carolyn Beecham. You don't need to.
No, it's their body. And when I take them through the balance and then I retest them at the end because I test them at first and it's weak, they don't really believe it. After the brain balance, then they're strong. They go, "Oh my God," because they know I'm not doing it. They know I'm just the facilitator.
And that brain balance is one of the most important signatures of an evolved alchemist. Although I haven't been using your methods, and I definitely want to, the very act of working with inner guides and the inner mate creates a balance between the right and left brain. The right brain, in fact, is the place where the guides live. That's the source of intuition. The other side, the left brain, is actually the thinking part, as you call it. We get into the leap of negative core beliefs. So anytime you're doing guide work, you're already bringing together the wiser part of us with the fixed core beliefs.
That's right. It's
to make a change.
Yep, it's actually the same thing, just in a different modality. And I was explaining, I like to use brain balancing initially with people because it's very experiential.
Well, it's right, Carolyn?
What's that?
Brain balancing would open the door for them to meet.
It opens the door. Exactly. That's the point I was just making is it opens the door because they have an immediate wonderful experience. It's not, they don't have to go into any past trauma. They don't have to go anywhere as far as that goes, but they see it and they feel it in their own kinesiology. Therefore, then I say, now we can go and meet some inner guides and we can do some deeper work.
You created the credibility. And in a certain sense, you're creating a belief in them, but that's good. You need a certain amount just to keep going. You need to have a certain belief in them. Yes.
Exactly. So I'm equating that with my version of the Jungian analysis. In my way, I can do a brain balance and I change the false belief right away because many clients, when they come in, they're fearful. And I just do a pattern interrupt and say, "Oh, don't worry, we're going to have fun." And they go, "We are?" And so as soon as they have an experience that's fun and powerful, then they're ready to trust more. So I love the way you're doing it too, because a lot of people aren't even ready for brain balance, frankly. They might think that's weird.
It's the original brain balancing technology, basically. You know what I mean? And having the background of Jung is an excellent one for a psychotherapist to do, to jump into the alchemical work. But frankly, we just want any psychotherapists and licensed counselors who have the kind of skills that Patricia has spent 30 years developing. We want to give them the alchemical tools.
Absolutely.
And that's easy to just get into our training. And, the irony is that many of them will say to me, "Well, David, we don't want to be with anybody who's not a licensed psychotherapist." Well, I'm sorry. My training has lots of people that are not licensed psychotherapists in it who are learning to be alchemists.
Absolutely.
And they have every right, just as you do, to be in the class and learn to become healers. But nevertheless, you as a psychotherapist will be special. Because
having both, that would be, I think it's beautiful. And I'm so happy to introduce our audience, to both of you for this. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful collaboration. And like I said, it's all in here, and actually so much of it, David, my work with you, so much influenced
I can't wait to read
everything that happened in here to show people this is the power we have within. And my whole point with the Intuition Incubator interviews is to have people like you come on to help our audience say, see, you have the power within you. It's not about us. We're only the facilitators here. Yes, we're trained extensively and we've done our own inner work, but what we can share through experience and through knowledge and training with others, that you can do the same thing. You have the power within with any of these, beautiful practitioners who are here with us today. So I really want them to know that. And so Oh my God, we've been talking already for over an hour. Do you believe
I
it?
know. I don't mind. I've got plenty of time. I got all the time in the world.
I
By the way, I still want to. I would like to get Patricia to get her phone number up there on our chat room so people can contact her for
well,
this
that
therapy.
was my next, that was
Put
my
that on the
next
chat
thing.
room.
Yeah,
Okay.
my next thing was I want both of you, we can still talk some more, but I want both of you to tell people where they can get a hold of you, how they can get a hold of you, what your websites, your emails, your whatever you want to give them, your phone contact, so that people can reach out. So why don't you
So
start?
Patricia, go first. Patricia, go first.
Tricia, go ahead.
Okay. I work online with a platform called Growth Therapy, growtherapy.com. And you
You make an appointment right there.
you can make an appointment. You have to have insurance. No, I guess you can do cash pay through them too. But they do all my insurance billing and stuff for me, so that I really like working with them for that reason. And then you can contact me through my personal phone number, which is 707-630-1789. And I also see people outside of the growth therapy platform, and but virtually. I don't have a face-to-face office at this time, which someday I will. Someday I'll really
Well,
like.
that's okay, Patricia, because I've done plenty of online alchemical sessions with David, and believe me, they're just as powerful.
Yeah,
It is powerful. And I was surprised how powerful it could be online because I'd had an office for 40 years. And just
Exactly. But I've
now,
done both with you in person and they're just as powerful people.
really good to know. That's really
Yeah.
good.
never watched her gallop online the way I did enjoying watching her in
Well,
person.
no, that's more fun in person,
And
obviously.
I'm
But
sure watching her gallop, and at the same time, regressing to my own experience of galloping on a horse, which was one of the most exciting experiences I've ever had.
that was great.
You
Well,
remember this online all the time. She'd ride her horse anytime and be
I
on an
did. I was on Adonis online when it's
amen. And
I
so
I've
the
been
best thing
there.
about it is we can be right there in the world where the client is in, just the same as if in person, because we're in this world where the beautiful horse is riding across the plains of whatever, and I'm riding with the client, and I'm with them, and we're doing, and
Talk back and forth. And
We're there.
yeah.
We're together in whatever realm. We're not just stuck in a room on a computer.
work over the phone. So any of you who are concerned about Zoom, I do all my work over the phone because I don't even need to see your face. All I need to do is be in that world with you. However, I do have a small private practice. I run out of my home office, which is a very beautiful home office here in Santa Rosa. So I do have a small private practice. You can contact me at 707 888 8403. 4 8s, and not the 3 6s you're probably waiting for, but 3 4
Confusing.
707-888-843. And we have a website, alchemyinstitute.com, with a free web library, including all kinds of wonderful articles about this. And we hope to have Horses of Higher Consciousness sold on our website. Contact Pat about that. We're going to sell this book through them. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes, they have wonderful, wonderful resources there. I do the Monday night clinics. You have all these different classes. You have
Wonderful Monday night
free
clinics as well.
library information that's fascinating. So people, alchemyinstitute.com. But let's go back to Patricia for a moment. Did you say grow therapy, GROW, or
Yes.
growth? Grow, just GROW?
PRO.
Growtherapy.com. Okay, and your number again is 707-630-1789.
Sure.
Right? And David, again, give us yours a little slower, that phone number.
707 888 8403.
Good. Yeah, because that was a little with the 888.
Yeah, 888 848. Okay,
Yes.
good.
So anybody can feel free, contact either of them. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, in closing,
Just make a special. If any of you call from this video, just mention the video or the name Carolyn Beecham or Horses to Higher Consciousness, and I'll give you a $50 discount on a first session.
Wow, people, that would be something. That's right.
That's just so I can trace who is actually paying attention to this thing.
All right, so here's the name, anybody. If you need to tell David, well, you can see it on my screen too, but here, Carolyn Beauchamp.
Well, $50
Yeah.
with Mr. Q. Yeah.
Okay, so $50 off. Wonderful. All right, well, I want to honor both your time, but I want to wrap up with, just some last minute inspiration that we can leave for both of you, like what we can leave our audience with.
I'd like to leave one final inspiration myself, if I could, and that is that if you're thinking about entering into the world of shamanism, if you ever explored, riding the horses in the spiritual world, those riders in the sky, and wanting to be a part of the amazing world of alchemy, whether it's or shamanism, whether it's you'd like to save your community from a thunderstorm and a flood, or you'd like to assist people in contacting their guides and healing their bodies of illnesses, we need it more than ever now. We've already been doing plenty of weather working, haven't we? Destroying the world we live in, creating massive firestorms, hurricanes, tornadoes all over the place. And if we don't learn how to manage these, we'll be managed right off the planet because of what we are doing to this world. So we had better be prepared to be shamans, because the weather working that's been going on for the last 100 years won't leave us much other choice if we are to survive as a people. In addition, healthcare is being ripped away from hundreds of millions of Americans. Right now, the figure is something like 40 million Americans have lost their healthcare already. Hundreds of millions more will lose it. We need healers who can work for a fraction of the money that medical industry charges. I spoke to a former friend of mine today who told me that she was dying of cancer. She'd made a big mistake. She had trusted the medical industry for her cancer treatment, and now she was dying. I want you to be aware, modern medicine is fading, but we need something better. I licked cancer 40 years ago. I licked rheumatoid arthritis. I've helped hundreds do the same, as have many of you, including you. And Patricia, Carolyn, we know your story of cancer if you read the book. And the environment's dental destruction is accelerating under the current leadership in our planet. So we don't have the ability to fight this epidemic, this pandemic of expanding cancer cases and autoimmune diseases, all the product of our pollution. If we don't learn how to manage these, once again, we're doomed. We need you. The world needs you. Carolyn, Patricia, all the alchemists. I won't be around much longer, but the world needs us to stay here and do as much healing as we can as things come crashing down around us. But you can also make a good living by being a healer that can actually make a difference in this world today. As Carolyn, thank you. As Carolyn, you have so learned.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, David. It's so true. It's very powerful. Now,
Well, I want to thank you, Carolyn, for having me appear today. It's so much fun to talk about what I do and what excites me. It gets me more riled up to do it more. And I just wanted to say that I have an ability, a lot of courage when I go into my inner world. And that's what I try to help people come feel themselves, because so many of them, when I first meet them and talk about whether it's psychotherapy or doing some hypnotherapy, there's real fear because they don't know how to do it. They don't know what's going to happen. And so I just want to say to the people who are considering taking courses and becoming hypnotherapists, and the people who are thinking about getting sessions, that it is a loving, creative experience, and it's worth giving it a try. Giving it a try, and it can make a difference in the world. And I believe, like David's saying, that we we have a responsibility to do all we can to help our world. And I know in my life it's been on an individual to individual basis, and I've had to come to the conclusion that that's okay. I don't have to stand in front of hundreds of people and make speeches, and because my way is more opening people to the magic of connection and intimacy and healing that can happen through alchemical hypnotherapy.
Absolutely. And one-to-one is so important. You are making a difference. None of us has to stand up in front of millions of people. David, luckily, has been able to travel all over the world teaching for so many years. So there have been a lot of people that have been able to become alchemical hypnotherapists and help so many people. But the other people, like I did too for many years, until now, where I'm out speaking and having the Intuition Incubator and spreading the word, I was in my office making a difference too, one person at a time. But one person at a time, then they get better, and then it affects their whole world, and then they're out. So it's bigger than we think. It's not
Yeah.
just one person. It's changing as it changes them. And we've all had referrals. I've had so many referrals from people who have gotten amazing results, and then they send others. So even one person at a time makes a difference. And yes, anybody out there who is inspired, even if you're just here to gain the healing and you'd like a session, please reach out. But if you are inspired and you are a healer and you're interested in learning more, then please go to the alchemyinstitute.com and learn about David's work. It's so powerful. And I'm going to be doing another one shortly too with you. I'll be
I
back.
was going to say, bring me out to Florida, Carolyn. Highway another tornado or whatever is delivered.
Whatever is delivered, and it's always something fabulous. And
And what I don't know, any of you would know out there in the audience, but the very same day that I saved the whole class from a massive tornado, and we all got to see that, you guys gave it back to me by healing me of a illness I had carried for 15 years
yes, we
in
did.
my Achilles tendon. You
That
pulled
was
it out, and I cried and screamed like I'd never done before. It was an amazing experience of clearing the underlying cause, and then the condition just cleared up.
exactly right. And that's the important point. You realize you found your inner guides gave you the underlying cause to that, and then you were able, oh my God, you were able to heal that. So yes, we got to facilitate healing the healer. How wonderful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I really honor both of you so much. I honor your work, and David, you have definitely changed my life in amazing ways, and it's all chronicled right here, people. So if you want to learn more about the amazing miracles that happened, then you can just pick up Horses to Higher Consciousness. And David also is an author. David has many books, right? Tell him about how many books you have.
The most important books I've got, Alchemical Hypnosis is our little red book that is very useful for anyone who wants to learn the basics of how the alchemical process works. It can be down. You can download it straight onto your computer or order it straight from us or from Amazon. Alchemical Hypnosis is the name. And for those who want a deeper exploration, the book The Alchemy of Healing is the blue book.
Yep,
And
I have them both.
that one is an encyclopedia of how we can apply the alchemical process to everything from smoking cessation, surgical procedures, past life regression, how we work with chronic overweight, chronic pain. I mean, even everything having to do with hypnosis and how alchemy as a unique system connects to all those approaches. So if you are a hypnotherapist and simply want to know how you can use alchemical tools, order The Alchemy of Healing. Both books are actually a set meant to be used together. And then, of course, there are two workbooks for my course that between them present about almost 500 pages of protocols and information and articles that are in our workbooks. And you can order all of these through our website. Although if we usually don't advertise the workbooks on our website because they are for the professional audience. But if you
Yes.
contact through our email, you can say, look, I'm a hypnotherapist, would like to look at your workbook. Then we do provide that for, I think it's $120. It's expensive, $240 for both workbooks. But that's if you want to learn, take the course.
Yes,
The book is free.
exactly. The experience is in the rooms. Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And the room really is a room when we all get together, when we're in small groups of 2 and 3 people working in small groups with assistants. And so there's this constant interaction with the spiritual world going on in the training.
Self-growth is amazing in
Yeah.
those courses. I mean, you go through psychotherapy like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree because I've experienced both and I know exactly, but I love how you're incorporating it. Patricia, this is fantastic. So,
Oh, and now I'd like to do another one of these series at some point, which is another horses in the series, which is working with animal spirits in general. There is a lot that I could teach and would love to share about my work with, for example, my inner animal spirits, the hawk, the eagle, the Black Panther, which is one of my spirit animals. I have some amazing stories to share about that. Being a mountaineer, of course, one has a special relation to the animal world.
I
So
would love that, David. I would love for
yeah,
you to do that. I'm a big fan of Ted Andrews, Animal Speak.
yes,
You
of
know,
course.
with
That's good. Yes, very good. That, yeah.
beautiful. Like when I would see certain animals, I would get out my Animal Speak and look that up. So I would love to take a course with you on animal spirit guides.
Well,
That
let's do it. Let's do one of these horses sessions as well. But
yes,
I
yes.
do
Let's
On the Monday night events, I do have an occasional one that is working with the animal spirit. So you can look on our list and see if it's listed. And if it's not, talk to Pat and have her put it up. That
okay.
is a 1.5 hour thing that I do called working with the animal spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to experience that. It's really those Monday night clinics are fantastic. They really are. They're beautiful and wonderful.
And by the way, let's keep that in the final cut. Let's keep that in about the Monday nights because that is a great way to get all of us to build a community through these
Right.
Monday night things, including whatever Monday thing you're doing. Because I know you're doing a similar thing.
The Monday night clinics involve a bit of lecture, and then a journey.
We do a guided journey
Simply
each
a guided
time.
journey.
That's a plus.
and we share, anybody who wants to share. And I'm always sharing.
So we're often doing journeys I've never done before. Almost every journey I lead, I've never done that journey before as leading that group. And although they're similar to what happens in the basic training, but they're little snippets that I go into more advanced detail. For example, I showed in one of these events, I showed how the preconception contract, which I always teach as go back and look and see this and see your future destiny. The preconception contract holds within it, like a hologram, all of the relationships you're going to have with other people in this present life, what their meaning is for you, what their gift for you, what their challenge is for you. So you can open that file, the relationship file within the preconception contract, and get a quick file journey through each. Oh, gee, why was I with my mother? Why did I pick my father? Why my brother? Why the current relationship that I'm having with my wife? See, and you can see because in a past life, in the file, you'll find, in a past life, we were doing this and we agreed to do this, that back then, and I've got a karmic debt to pay about this. And you can see all this in the preconception contract. And
Wow.
we did that in one of our guided Monday night journeys.
Did you? Wow.
And every time I go in these, I didn't know I was even going to be doing that. I had no idea what we were doing that. It's always a surprise to me when I do them.
Oh my
But
God.
just one example of how I go into these wholly different and more advanced levels with the alchemical work. And by the way, Royal tells me that Carl Jung does that all the time. That's why Carl Jung is Royal's actual alchemical trainer.
Oh, I
And he's
love it.
really, really advanced. I'm probably borrowing these from Carl Jung's subconscious mind myself. It does keep us at the cutting edge to be doing these Monday night events. So I hope you'll continue to do them. And I want to ask if you'd be willing to do a trade with Patricia so you don't have to pay for them, because I want you to be there just for the help us make it work. So talk to her about that. But she's the money bags lady. So, but I definitely would love to have you work. Pat, I'm talking about Patricia Haggard, of course, the other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Really been moving on, but I'm sure some of this you're going to be editing out at the end. But I really loved it, and you were both very, very, very good. Carolyn, you were wonderful. And Patricia, I especially appreciate the insight I finally got into explaining why. And Patricia's psychic, of course, we all are, but not like that. Not like the curtains have been pulled aside, and I'm seeing this entire arena in front of me. I mean, that was really amazing.
it's all been amazing. And no, David, I don't think I'm going to edit any of it out. It all was great. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you so much, David. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
You're so welcome, Carolyn. Let's do another one We'll talk
Let's,
soon. I've got an appointment for a breakfast date here with Patricia. So,
yep, I'm going to let you both go, and I'm going to thank you again. Thank you everyone for being here for another amazing Intuition Incubator interview. Bye,
well,
David. Bye, Patricia. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.